Don't you talk about my boy?
I really wanted James Earl Jones to do it.
Oh my God.
Like really bad. I don't know why.
Morgan Freeman?
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to Nerd on the Podcast You Didn't Need But Deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome,
Yeah, they are.
even if you're an outlaw,
Yeah. A pirate.
even if you're a pirate
What if you're a criminal?
or a criminal.
No, we're not an outlaw.
Or if you're
We're
a
an
part
outlaw,
of the
not a criminal.
Qatari.
We won't
That's
kill
true.
people.
Ctarl-Ctarl.
If you're an outlaw,
Because I felt like there were R's. Like even the narrator was like,
Ctarl.
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 Listen to the
Ctarl.
narrator.
It's Ctarl.
Sometimes
I'm from
he
Southern
sounds like-
Indiana, y'all.
Y'all.
hopefully.
So what are we talking about, Ollie?
If you haven't guessed by now, we are talking about the 98 classic anime, Outlaw Star.
Mm-hmm.
It's a special one for me because I think it's the first anime that I saw,
Wow.
Yeah.
and subsequently the favorite of mine.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Holds a special place in your
favoritism.
Special place in my heart.
We never forget our first.
Yeah.
And then
Prom
after that, since I saw like Cowboy Bebop and then like 3 others, and that's all I've seen. So I'm very noobish in the anime space, as you guys
okay.
all know.
You heard
but
it here first, folks.
You at home, if you don't know by now, I'm very uncultured when it comes to anime. So I don't really have a whole lot of other things to go off
You're
of.
bringing us into your fold.
Yeah. So this is one thing that I appreciated for very many reasons, as we'll talk about today. But before we jump into that, we're gonna introduce ourselves, starting with me. I am one of your hosts, Ali.
I am your host, Tom.
I am Caitlin.
And I am Josh, and this episode is brought to you in part by the Nerd On Nation, powered by Patreon. If you are new to Patreon or the Nerd On Nation is essentially our super membership place where you can get Discord
Extra
server,
goodies.
extra goodies. I like that phrase, extra goodies.
Well, it's not really descriptive.
No.
More content.
More content, never before seen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Just for
fun
you.
stuff. It's just for you. It's all sorts of stuff. The favorite thing is the Discord server. It is hopping all the time.
Yeah, and also you can comment on all the things that we put up on the Patreon page that's never before seen or heard outside of that discourse.
Behind the scenes, there's extra episodes. There's
Got
stuff
lens
that we
videos.
lens
That's
videos.
just called lens.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we have like content that's only for patrons.
Yeah.
Or for
Yeah.
the
A lot
Nerd
of cool
On
stuff.
Nation. So-
Basically, it allows us to keep the lights on. And we are really grateful for that. But you can check it out, nerdon.io/Patreon. One of the great things about Patreon is you get to take a poll for Guess That Grump. What is Guess That Grump, Caitlin?
Wow.
well,
Since this is a completed piece, a completed series, at the end of the show, we're going to rate it. Now ask that question. I was like, guess that grump. The first time we hear guess that grump should be like the cacophony that you hate, that you're like, this is the worst thing ever.
I tried.
We're flying by the seat.
I
of our
really
pants.
we really are.
Yes, we don't have Corey today, so also the flow's a little off.
A little bit, just a little.
That's
Corey,
probably what
come
it is.
back to
We're
us.
mixing it up because some people don't always do certain things. Like Guess That Grump is not usually explained by Caitlin.
Nah, not at all. I've literally never done it before. And I feel like it's kind of partially already been explained. But since this is a work that's completed and it's something that we can rate, we will always guess that grump. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. It's space. That's it.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, that's how the
No.
song goes.
Ending? Yeah.
I know, but we're not
there yet.
It is the worst thing. You're right.
Yeah.
But guess that grump is where at the end of everything we will guess either not guess.
We will
This is
give
why
our
I don't do it.
rating.
We'll give our rating 0 out of 5. It'll never hit 0 unless it's Ali
Unless it's me.
because it doesn't have Batman. Or everyone can vote 5. And like one person is 4.9 and they're the grump of that week. Or we can all be the grump by picking 5.
Yeah,
really grump.
It's like a Who's Line. The points don't really matter. It's just for fun. Except for to Tom, they always matter. But you can guess that grump as well. And we're going to go around and guess who we think is the grump.
And since you always explain,
And since I always explain, I'm going to go first and say that I think Josh is going to be the grump.
Wow.
I guess that right off the bat, even though it's probably wrong.
I don't know, but probably. We'll see.
I think it's Caitlin.
Wow.
I think it's Tom.
I will also think it's Caitlin.
All right. 2
All
for
right.
Caitlin, 1 for me, and
'Cause
1 for Tom.
If
None
there's-
for me.
If there's one, oh yeah, of course, it's your episode. If there's one thing I know about Caitlin is that she's pretty particular about her animes.
Mm-hmm.
And if she notices a mole on a man, then I
Yeah.
wonder what other art style and animation flub ups she might have saw.
Just so if this has been coming up a lot, and for people who are newer to the show, the mole on a man thing is from the Shazam episode where I noticed
Zachary
something caught
Levi.
me up that I noticed a mole after he was like, "You're the most perfect being in existence," and then they like panned out over his shoulder, and it was like a mole,
Moles can't be perfect.
and I was like,
guess.
"Is that like the most perfect?"
Tell that to Cindy Crawford.
Anyway.
wow.
Made hers famous. Anyway, so the complete spoiler of that is our initial reactions and our first impressions. So we're going to talk about what we thought about the thing. So, I mean, for drama, do we want Ollie to go first or last?
I think last.
Yeah,
Tom,
let's
you go.
last.
For me, okay. So I mean, this is as some would say, the forerunner to some of the anime shows such as Trigun and Cowboy Bebop. Things
Yeah.
that take place in space, but
Space
also have
Western.
a Western atmosphere to it. Joss Whedon, and
Cough, Firefly.
Cough.
this came out when I watched it. I remember specifically watching it on Toonami, and it was after Gundam. Because I remember, like, I didn't get home in time to watch Gundam, and I had to watch Outlaw Star instead. So I was like,
so
whatever.
for Outlaw Star.
Well, I mean, like it was like the 3 to 6 hour block, and so
Mm-hmm.
it was like 3:30. It was like 3 Gundam, then 3:30 another Gundam, then 4 o'clock was Outlaw Star, then it was like Rurouni Kenshin, then it was like Dragon Ball Z.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then they changed it with everything like Zatch Bell and all this shit. Shout out to Jeff Dean-Moy. But I like the show. I think it was interesting. I
Tom, did you just say you
I like
like
the
the
show.
show?
I didn't say I like the show. I didn't
No,
say
you
like that.
did.
that.
I said I
keeping
like
it.
the show.
I don't care. I'm happy.
The ending songs are the ones that stuck with me the most. The use of soft magic systems, which I learned what that was as an adult.
Yeah.
But then like what this phenomena was in
what
the
is
anime
soft
world.
magic systems?
I'll talk about that in a bit.
Oh,
Yeah, Josh.
this is not the time for questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
No qualms either, but not yet, Ollie. But no, I mean Gene Starwin's a fucking redhead guy who's dark skinned. So probably the only few people I can cosplay as. So I mean, of course I like that shit. And plus Ollie's favorite plot device, girl in a box. I mean that's fun. And then
Girl in a box.
and then like spaceships that are fighting with their
Very
arms. So I
true.
mean, what's there really not to like? And guns that have like more power than they ought to have.
Yeah.
And then
Cast
plus
spells.
I was a kid, so I saw like boobies more than I should have. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe I
Well-
actually saw boobies less than I should have, and I was watching it out of anime instead. And that would cause me to be the virgin till I graduated high school.
And the sick man that you are today.
Yep.
Yep.
And that was Tom Shares.
Who's next?
Josh,
Oh.
Oh wow.
you weren't fast enough.
Wow. Nope.
Gotta be quick on the trigger,
Um,
buddy.
I really liked it. I started it, and I mean, as with any show, it takes a couple of episodes to kind of like, okay, this is what this is about.
See what's
And
I
going
think
on.
honestly, the rule with anime: 3 episodes.
3 episodes.
3 episodes.
feel
It's
like
like
that's
pretty
it.
much like equivalent to like an hour-long pilot.
Yeah.
Like that would get you like this is the first arc-ish, and you get to see what's happening.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was the girl in a box.
Yep.
It's
It
a
was-
girl in a box.
It was a little like Firefly. A
What do
little
you mean?
bit.
Firefly's like Outlaw
Wow,
Star.
like, it's Firefly's like Outlaw Star.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
That's
It's
sure.
like
true.
saying, it's like saying, oh, Lion King's so much like Hamlet.
that's true.
Nope.
That's true.
That's Shakespeare, plagiarist. Actually,
but-
well,
Yeah.
different story.
I mean, it's anime, so I know that I have my certain hang-ups when it comes to anime that this provided.
Lenses you're looking
Yeah, my lenses that I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. But we'll get to that later.
Ooh, girl parts.
Girl parts. Oh no. But I really enjoyed it. The narration spot at the front, the story was a lot of fun. The characters were kooky. It's just a ragtag motley crew, and it was fun to see all their various adventures that they got into, and
It kind of begs for a
magic
second season
systems.
sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I'd watch
100%.
it. I just remember being like, "Ooh, next episode. This is fun. Next episode." So, yeah, I liked it.
Cool.
It was fun.
Aw.
No, Caitlin, go.
I like the show.
Oh, yay.
So don't make it a thing.
I like the show a lot. I really liked how every character felt unique, even the background characters.
Oh yeah.
Everything
The prisoner dude,
the prisoner dude.
the guy on the planet with 10 Gs.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, so much thought and care was put into so many aspects of this, and there are a couple of parts where I was like, "Oh man, this didn't age the way that I thought it did." But
Phones.
phones, yeah, that's totally one. But the way that they use like Eastern magic and
Pagwasampa.
yeah,
Yep.
and like spacey stuff. It was like Star Trekky. It was Star Warsy. It was Western. It had so many
It was
cool
pirates in space.
Pirates in space. There were just so many great elements that blended together in kind of unexpected ways, especially at the time that it came out, because it was the first one of all of those.
It's legit the
Yeah.
redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, legit the redheaded stepchild. And
Sorry, Gene.
I mean, when you think about it, that's the one that people often forget.
yeah.
Like they go, oh, Cowboy Bebop. Oh, Trigun.
Oh yeah, Outlaw Star.
The thing I think that happens between that is that Outlaw Star kind of marries both of them. Like there's a levity with Trigun in each episode that it doesn't really follow like a formula and all that stuff. But then Cowboy Bebop is so like existential and stoic in some ways, where it talks about a very specific thing about characters, and also it blends in the genre of music with that. And Outlaw Star does that both, but then those two like are strictly, it's kind of like mains. They're mains in that, while this is like a generalist.
Yeah.
And so it can
Yeah.
do both, and it does it well too.
And I also kind of like Cowboy Bebop had that whimsy about it. I cannot remember the kid's name.
Ed.
Ed. Like Ed was a lot of that whimsy, and I feel like the whole cast in Outlaw Star had that whimsy. Like it wasn't just reserved for one person, and
person.
everyone else is like sad, listening to blues and smoking a cigarette, looking off into the
Everyone's capable
Yeah.
of being
Right.
the comedic,
Everyone- yeah.
comedic relief.
Yeah.
exactly.
But also
So-
being a badass at one point.
Exactly. Like all of them have their like kind of tropey things they fall into, but they're also still like really genuine. Like when it's time to get serious, they get serious. And I
Yeah.
love that about the show.
Bali.
For me, I mean, I ate this up. This was like, I love sci-fi and space adventures, and just the feeling of, the Western meets sci-fi that was the first time I'd really been exposed to it.
Weren't
So
you
I hadn't-
saying like one of your friends were like, "Oh, you need to see this"?
Yeah,
But, like,
I saw it with a friend, my buddy Dennis. Shout out to Dennis.
Shout out to Dennis.
Shout out.
His real friend.
He showed me the animes that I've seen, basically, including Cowboy Bebop, and I think he started to show me Trigun, but we didn't watch it. Ended up not watching it for some reason. But I did end up. It's not a second season, but there's an offshoot series called
Angel Links.
Angel Links.
Oh yeah.
I saw some of it, but couldn't really get into it, and that's kind of where I ended with Angel Links. But it was not the same.
I watched
it's
an
not
interview with the creator of this show, and he basically said that he reversed what he was doing with this, but in a different way.
Takahito Ito.
Yeah,
So that's probably why.
that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, I ate it all up. I loved it. I loved the characters were always funny, charming, but they were badasses when they needed to be. And the big element that I was drawn to was the caster shells. Like that captured the fuck out of my imagination.
Destiny.
Like, yeah, it's space magic. It's casting a spell with bullets, which
Yeah.
is like
I thought that was.
I haven't really
cool.
seen that since, but it's been like a really cool. It was a really cool
Continued
concept.
watching Yu Hakusho, you might.
You mean
In
if
the future.
I do continue watching?
I said, if you do continue watching.
So if I do continue watching, okay.
But you know what? If you do.
oh my god. Okay. All right.
But seriously, if you do.
But no, yeah, I mean, I loved it.
Nice.
Cool.
It's a great show.
So now
I
that
want more of it.
that would bring us. So we kind of know that everyone has this like slightly rose tinted glasses. It doesn't really give us an indication of who's still going to be the grump of the show, which our Nerd on Nation does take part in our poll. Be part of that. So that brings us to what? Brief synopsis and production.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So who wants to do
I
the
will
brief
give a, I will
synopsis?
give a crack at it.
We're not
I do have some notes. The thing about this show is that it has kind of its like through line, so to speak, of what they're trying to do, but then there's a lot of like
Adventure will ensue.
adventure will ensue kind of stuff. I mean,
Adventure of the week.
essentially you are following
Gene
Starwin and his kind of, what would you call him, a sidekick?
11-year-old mechanic.
His business partner.
Yeah, his business partner.
They're partners in
And they just have this kind of all trades, jack of all trades kind of business. And then somehow they get looped in to this adventure where they are on this kind of state of the art ship. And there's this important box. There's a girl in the box.
It's a girl in a box.
Girl in the box. A lot of different adventures ensue.
Yeah.
People join their team like Suzuka.
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 Twilight
Aisha.
Suzuka.
Aisha's
Aisha,
the name.
Ctarl-Ctarl,
Clan
Clan.
there's just a lot of adventure ensues, a lot of craziness ensues.
All different walks of life. Which
Yeah,
is
from
great.
all different. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Even the gay walk of life.
Even the gay
Shout out to
walk of
Fred
life.
Lowe.
Basically,
Good old
the through line is that they are trying to find the Galactic Leyline, which some people want it for the power, some people want it for the knowledge that it can give them, and some people just want treasure. So it becomes kind of a treasure hunt kind of show, but you also have this like assassin group that is chasing them, and then you have these sciencey people that are chasing them. Eventually they get to the place that does house the Galactic Leyline, and it's just this big kind of battle. Battle ensues. I mean, over this adventure, we have found that Malfina is the key to the Galactic Leyline.
Shout out Fifth
The girl in the
Element.
box is important.
Shout out
Yeah,
Fifth
the girl in
Element.
the box is important
It's
as
a
per
girl in
usual.
a box.
In the
I think it's
end,
been like twice, by the way. I don't think we make fun of it, but I think it's like literally that.
Well, you
and
loved Firefly, you loved this, and you love Fifth Element. Girls in
Okay,
the
I guess
Box,
that kind of counts.
Who's also
We're at
also
3 for 3
highly
right
fair
now.
plot devicey
Fair
at the
enough.
very end, at the 11th hour.
Fair
yeah.
enough.
Three is a
At
trend.
the end, I mean, essentially everybody meets at the Galactic Leyline. Everybody essentially gets what they want in a sense. The sciencey dude, I'm forgetting his name. He gets kind of
his-
sucked into
No,
the.
it's Gwen.
Gwen Con.
Gwen Con.
And
We're
he's
both
like,
right.
You said
"Oh,
Con.
I know everything," and then he disappears,
I am Data. Data is me.
and then he just kind of goes.
me, bro, about it.
Disappears.
And wait, hold on.
He becomes binary.
Just for everyone at home who have watched the original Japanese, everyone here, dub, English dub or Japanese language and then
Sub.
sub. Did you do sub?
I actually did the dub just
Okay.
because I wanted to hear what it was like since it was an older show, and it's always kind of a toss up for older shows if the dub is good or not, and the dub was pretty good.
Gents,
I like-
you guys
I did the dub.
I did the dub.
dub. I grew up with the dub, so I watched the dub again.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, since it was the first time watching the show, I was like, I need to.
I don't even know what the voices are in sub. I haven't.
They're just a little bit more anime like. That's all I
Yeah.
can
I
say.
figure, yeah.
Where it's like more
But
cute.
it's always curious to see like sometimes like I've seen it sometimes where they like the main character's so different.
Yeah.
Than like the Japanese.
Yeah.
Shout out to
counterpart.
Goku. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, they get to the Galactic Leyline, and then we won't spoil the whole thing. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch
We
for
kind
yourself.
of did already.
we will. Yeah.
Love ensues. The adventure continues.
Continues.
Everybody says, I mean, essentially everybody says they're going to go their separate ways, but
no.
there's like an end credit scene where everybody's back together again.
So
and they're-
basically, we spoiled the ending.
not really.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
Well, you can
They
watch
don't
the
know
show.
what happened.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
it happens is
Fair,
important.
fair,
Yeah.
fair.
The journey.
So yeah, going into the production. So the studio that owns the rights to it completely. It's originally a manga, created by Takahito Ito.
Manga.
Manga. Based on the Ultra Jump magazine, written and illustrated by creator. The studio that owns the rights for the adaptation for the anime is Sunrise. The original studio that was, I guess, airing it was TV Tokyo, but a lot of different random people around the world gets their hands on it, so they have the rights to distribute it. So Madman, Anime Limited.
It's passed so many hands. I was
Yeah.
looking that up, man.
Funimation is the one that most American audiences here has seen it. CNX, GMA Network, Cartoon Network, Toonami, and Adult Swim is the one that later got the second dub. And then Funimation currently airs the second dub that we see on Hulu. Bandai, ZRO Limit Productions. The director is Mitsuhiro Hongo, who did most known for Sakura Wars, the Shin-Chan movie, and IGPX, which is Immortal Grand Prix, which I watched, which is a weird like race anime movie. Producers Shinjiro Yokoyama, the recent Ghost in the Shell films on Netflix, Silent Mobius, which is all-girl police force when they fight monsters that come from another dimension, which is pretty cool.
Dope.
I read the manga, as Caitlin would say, and there's a lot of nudity, which Josh wouldn't like. Naotake
I'm gonna have to
Furusato.
explain that later.
Yep.
Furusato, yeah, that's fine. Who later on produced Angel Links, the spin-off series, and Gear Senshi Dado, written by Katsuhiko Chiba. I know I'm butchering all the names, everyone bear with me. Who later did Inuyasha, Turn A Gundam, Shaman King, for all those who watch the WB morning cartoons, and some episodes of Naruto Shippuden. Cast Gene
Shippuden.
Shippuden. So cast is Gene Starwin, played by Bob. So for the English dub, Bob Buchholz, who
Bob?
who later did voices for Akira, Digimon, and many live film adaptations from Japan here for the localization.
Wow.
Melfina. Now, the two things, we had two different dubs. So one was Bridget Hoffman and Emily Brown, who first Bridget Hoffman did Lane, Fuji Yugi and Xenosaga, and then Emily Brown later did Gundam, Trigun, and Robotech. Jim, who was played by Brienne Brosy, yeah. Who also did Digimon, Jungle Shuffle, Star Ocean, and did a stint in Power Rangers. Suzuka, Twilight Suzuka, is played by Wendy Lee, who also we know from the voice of Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop. Also Akira, Ninja Scroll, and Devil May Cry as Trish. So she has a very sexy, empowered voice, and I like it. Aisha Clan, voiced by Lenore Zahn, who was most notably from the X-Men animated series as Rogue. And Serial Experiments Lane as well. So,
and she kind of disappeared because I think she started doing politics in Australia. I was looking her up and I was why can I not find her?
Yeah.
And she did like
Grace.
Rogue for so long and then like this. But like after, if you look at her credits, there's hardly anything.
And if for everyone listening at home, all these different animes, Serial Experience Lane is like one of those early 90s anime where like they're like kind of like scared of the idea of the internet. And it's about this girl who like walks into the world of the wired. And like things go fucking awry in this like girl's life in like suburban Tokyo. It's pretty dope. Really trippy because God gets involved. Runtime. There's no real runtime. They're like 24-minute episodes, but it's 26 episodes in the initial release. If you go on Hulu, they have 52 because you have the dub and sub. Released January 8th, not January 20th, June 25th, 1998.
There we go.
And it currently there's no Rotten Tomatoes for these kind of things, but it was a 7.9 on IMDb score and My Anime List there, and I think it
Means it's good.
I mean that means the
that's a
users
pretty
who watched
solid
it liked it.
Gooder.
I mean, I was kind of watching some videos on it that it's basically like we always talk about Cowboy Bebop and Trigun. Like when I started hanging out with you guys, those are two that came up a lot. And Outlaw Star was eventually something that you brought up. And then I come to find out that they're not a trilogy per se. They're just held together. And Outlaw Star is so hard to find. And nowadays that's sometimes why it's not talked about as much because it's so hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've only watched it aired on TV. I never saw like a physical copy of it. I remember like renting out of a library Trigun.
Yeah.
And like Cowboy Bebop, I mean, the movie's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like made a name for itself outside of just anime world into the main culture or mainstream culture. And I think they have lower windows of entry. But a little bit of story of the show. Takahito Ito, the creator of the show, who this kind of anime for those who are a little bit more initiated. There's different types of anime. This is specifically a seinen manga. Seinen manga. So different from shonen, which is more catered towards like 14-year-old teen boys. This is more towards the mature audience. Specifically more about like sci-fi maturity stuff. So that's why there's a little bit more gratuitous sex, as some would say. But also just like ideas.
Sex.
So instead of like, I'm fighting to be the best hero, it's like more like there's drugs and murder and like people do dubious things just because they're douchebags, not because they're like a villain out to like take over the world. Backstabbing happens a lot. Blood is a very prevalent thing in most times in terms of gore. But when he decided to make it, he had been dreaming about the story ever since he was a child, and it was more like just exploration. Very similar to like how the creator of Pokemon just imagined like going outside capturing bugs in a jar. But then when it came down to write it out, he wanted to have the most scientific approach to anime as anyone could take. Although at the time, standing on shoulders of giants and titans, there's shows like Robotech and Gundam that all have been out beforehand. And those all talked about like the horrors of the Industrial Revolution, war, and all that stuff, like Tolkien to the anime world. And this one's a little bit more about like the ideas of races and interstellar travel and how things would change, like going to a planet that has 10 Gs. How does that affect somebody? Like planets that don't like, or forgotten civilizations that was just like, people did know about it, but they just lost the maps how to get there. It's like, that's what he theorized what would happen once we are able to travel faster than light speed, which is the precipice of this show. Was like, what's going to happen when we could travel faster than light speed and stuff like that. So,
He said he was heavily influenced by Star Wars and Star Trek too. Which I feel is super obvious.
Yeah. And then later on, as Ollie said, this later spawned a sequel, a spin-off series, Angel Links, which featured two characters that we saw in the Prison Break episode. That the Dragon Man, and then the blonde girl. But then they weren't even the main characters. The main character was a girl who pretty much is Jean, this is supposed to be like the Jean, like the hot-headed character who's like looking for or her father dies and she's looking to do this one thing because her dad tells her to do it, and it's like his dying wish. And so it's like kind of the same thing, but then the main thing is like you introduce the two side characters of a main story, but then they're part of the Angel Links, which is in the Outlaw Star world. There's like 4 major federations or 4 major tribes that like control or wrest power of the universe or the galaxy, of the known galaxy, and the Angel Links are there to stop pirates. And so Outlaw Star is pretty much more like you could be part of the military or be part of the pirates, and he chose the middle route. He was like, I don't follow the law, but I also don't break the law when I don't.
I'm an outlaw.
And then Angel Links is more like, we're going to follow the military and how they combat the pirates. So it's a different story, but it's a little bit more exploration of the universe.
Yeah.
There hasn't been any type of live action, I think,
Yet.
adaptations.
Talks? No. I don't think
Netflix.
so.
I mean,
It's ripe for it.
yeah, but Netflix doesn't have a really good track record with a lot of people liking. Not saying it's not bad or good, but just people, just fans typically don't like the adaptations.
We need good old Cameron.
Robert Rodriguez.
Robert Rodriguez.
All that. But I was talking to my friends, like, if there's any type of adaptation that needs to happen for anime, I think the best way to go about it is actually the John Wick approach. A low budget, like $100 to $125 million, and you just do it as simple and watered down as possible.
True to the story.
And just do the characterization and barely the story, like not do the whole grand scope of it, and then let it grow, and then get to a $200 million John Wick.
Yeah.
That was thinking. Anyways,
Yeah.
so
That could work.
without Tom speaks,
That's Tom's plans.
so favorite parts, guys and gals,
Oh,
and
gosh.
Ctarl-Ctarls.
I really enjoyed there were a couple of,
If
I mean,
you say
the
Hot
race.
Springs.
No,
Yes.
no. The race was a lot of fun. That kind
Oh,
of
the first few
Oh,
episodes.
the space race.
the space race was a lot of fun to kind of see that and all the different ships and all that kind of thing. But I think
Traveling through the orbit of another planet.
yeah, but my favorite episode was like the strongest person in the universe or galaxy.
The girl fight.
Yeah.
The girl fight. I mean, there was a lot of fun moments in there, like them dressing up
Pro
Jean.
wrestling.
Well, that gave you a little
Yeah.
bit of Final Fantasy VII, huh? Dressing up as a girl.
Oh
There's
my
like
gosh,
one
it
tiny
is!
section of Final Fantasy VII where that takes place,
And you liked it.
and I liked it.
I like
No,
cross-dressing.
Asia kicking ass, and that was a lot of cool. That was a lot of cool.
That was a lot of cool.
A lot of cool and a lot of fun. Yeah.
I
Next.
really liked the episode. What was the little girl's name that was one of the pirates?
Oh, I mean the girl with the cats.
The cats.
Oh, that's
That was
heartbreaking.
like-
It's called, the episode's called a girl,
Girls,
cats, and a
cats.
spaceship.
Yeah, that
Right.
was just the single rose in space.
I just
was-
died when he was waiting and it's a low angle shot and the sky is red. And I was just like,
Yeah.
Oh, so sad. I
Yeah.
loved it. It
Spoilers.
was so good, but also really sad.
But then also it sucks. So the thing I like about the show too is at the beginning of the episode they do this little like prologue
Yeah.
of like people do this and blah blah blah, blah. But it's like Jin whatever. He's Jean's dude and they're two brothers.
and they're two friends.
And then like he's like, I'm the guy that makes sure Jean doesn't do blah blah with his letchy ways. And it's like Jean doesn't have like his identity is so part and parcel with Jean's that like Jim is always just like backseat. And this episode focused on his like aspirations. And then when the girl doesn't show up at the end, like they're just waiting on the bridge and there's no dialogue. And then you see Jim just kind of like brush it off, being like, it's okay. And he puts the little victory peace sign and it's like off to the next adventure. And it's like, that's his life. That's his childhood, is that he can't really have connections other than the people he's with.
Isn't it
Because
cool that
things
the
happen.
narrator's voice is the same voice as
Spike.
Jet?
Oh, Jet, yeah.
Jet.
Well,
From
yeah,
now
and then
on.
Faye.
Yeah.
And I was like, it gives you more like, oh, this feels so. But also, that's how Funimation is. It's just so incestuous.
yeah, the pool is widening more. No, but anyway.
Whiting,
It's like Ken Watanabe and Legendary.
growing. Yeah, exactly.
Another favorite part is like when they would show like flashbacks of like, oh, these other stories happened. They would always show like a poster kind of thing of things that happened in the past, but everyone was so specific and like the characters were so well thought out that you're like, I want to know what that was about. What was
Yeah.
that? Like, show me about that
The
person.
20 more episodes.
That's
you might
something
want.
that I constantly was impressed with how rich the world was.
Yeah.
And how little time they had to like show us everything cool.
And they did
know?
such a good job with like they didn't spoon feed you information. Like they'll say one thing and you're like, oh, this
Yeah.
is what's happening right now. This is where they were.
Well,
this is where they're going,
think-
and this is what's going on.
I think that's where the prologues helped a lot. was like they were able to kind of like just give you like a quick thing of exposition for like 30 seconds that tells you enough for you to like get more enjoyment out of the episode and it makes more sense to you. So I appreciate that. I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. But
well, I would say like it's a good trope of the medium.
Yeah.
Like that
they work with what they had, you know, to work with.
Well, I mean, like they're
so-
telling a story. They're trying to tell a story in like 22 minutes,
Right.
And it's like they give you enough so you can make those leaps and bounds, but it's kind of like in normal film writing, storytelling, like those would be like frowned upon or cardinal sins and all that
exactly.
stuff. But it's the same thing that you would do in books. Like books are totally written different than movies are, and movies are totally written as different as anime. But you shouldn't think of one as like a stepping stone to the other. They're all their own islands.
Yeah, that's why it's nice that it's like separated from the actual episode, and it kind of feels a bit more prologue-y, and you don't feel like you're being spoon-fed necessarily.
And I'm not. I know I make a dig on Destiny all the time, but it kind of felt like this is like the Codex or Grimoire entries, where it's like, oh, okay, this is like world building stuff. I like this.
It's like the game is loading, so it's showing me the lore entry while it's loading.
Yeah.
This is a dragon sphinx.
Out of curiosity, was this, and I don't know if anybody at this table knows, but was this meant to only be one season and it was canceled, or was it canceled?
I think it was just the run of the manga.
Oh, okay.
Manga.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I think they moved to Angel Links, hoping that would be the big one.
World
okay.
builder.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think typically, again, so this is a seinen genre.
I'm probably
So
even said that wrong.
So
it was off the top
shonen,
of my head.
shonen genre is like, again, it's like, so how we Americans get comic books, it's like you get one issue a month or sometimes bi-weekly or sometimes weekly if you're fucking DC. And you gotta sell those books. And we'll get it weekly, but then like with this, it's like weekly Shonen Jump. It's like a magazine full of different issues. And so someone would write it and then send it out, and then it would come like, okay, this week's Shonen Jump, this week's Shonen Jump. And this one here, in this type of magazine, like I think they're meant to be like, this is just a ended run. Like that's the great, and that's why I've said this multiple times. Like the great thing about things that end, it fucking ends. Like it doesn't get milked dry for no damn reason. Like
this
Disney.
only
I
had
mean,
like 3 volumes, right?
yeah, I think. If it's all by itself without the single issues, then yeah.
Sorry, that was a tangent. You were talking about your
no.
favorite parts.
To me, honestly, like the first liftoff was pretty cool. The one that he had to like bail out real quick out of the spaceport. I dug that just because, and that's one of the aspects of the show that I really liked, is that even though there is space travel and faster than light, you felt the gravity of these ships. Of like, you still have to lift off like any other rocket, you know, out of the atmosphere or whatever. So it was like a grand occasion every time it happened, which was cool. So I loved that whole sequence of Gilliam helping him, you know, check systems, everything's green, blah, blah, blah. I ate all that stuff up. So
Also the little eye thingy that checks
the eye. Yeah. So like those are, anytime that happens, and anytime he uses a caster bullet, that's always a favorite moment. I just love seeing that, and the noise, like him reloading the gun, just the
When they do it-
noises are
well,
super
I
satisfying.
like the little insert, and they show like how his
Yeah.
thumb has to like navigate around it. It's
yeah,
like pretty dope.
and it's like all done well, and it sounds cool, and then you know you shoot it, and
Is that what you want for Christmas?
Yeah, I want a caster gun.
He wants a caster gun.
Not a real one, but like a little prop one.
Sure,
Yeah, I mean those would
With
be
some-
fucking
with
dope.
some
Make that
bullets.
happen.
Yeah,
with some 13s,
I was
I'm
gonna
not
say,
going to get
9
you the
maybe?
shells that you basically die if you shoot them.
well, I was gonna say
a
just,
9 and a 13,
just put like little ping pong balls.
and an 11.
Yeah.
11.
The soundtrack was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Just
That
throughout
opening.
the opening's super catchy.
Yeah,
It's like it was anyway. It was
Oh.
it was super catchy.
The
Every time it
ending
came on, I
song
was
was also-
like,
But all of the ending songs were really good too.
yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so soft magic system. So
Yes.
there's hard and soft, obviously. But soft. So
Sigh.
So okay. So to know what soft is, kind of know what hard is. So hard magic system is pretty much like there are rules, specific rules. Like you cannot make an iPad unless you have the materials to make an iPad.
Yeah.
You cannot make a microphone unless you have all the copper and all that bullshit you need to make it. It doesn't have to be like its final form, but it's like I have the material, exact material I need. Softer, so with hard magic, like you can expect, you know what to expect. There's hard rules, and it's limited based on X thing. Soft, there's not that much predictability. There's not that much rules, and usually seen from a third person that doesn't use the magic. So Lord of the Rings, from Frodo's perspective, Gandalf could just like, light boy! And then it's like, I didn't know you
That's
could.
what he says.
that's what he yells.
It's like, I didn't know he
Wow.
could. It's like, I didn't know he could do that, but apparently he can.
Aziz light.
You know, like he never used it before until finally, like, okay, we can use it. Like Harry Potter, it's like, I can only use the spell that I know. But it's
Yeah.
like, what makes Voldemort's same spell versus Harry Potter's same spell different? based on my will.
The word.
Right? Like there's no rule versus like Avatar where it's like I've trained harder and longer than you have doing the exact same thing, so I am stronger.
Okay.
Or in Full Metal Alchemist, like my materials are better than yours. So it's like those kind of things. So this uses like a soft magic system where it's like Pagwa Senpa, right? And she's like, what the fuck is you doing? And it's like sometimes like the dude gets bigger. Sometimes he shoots shit out of his body. Sometimes like he makes a tornado. Sometimes like water comes out of nowhere. And then versus a gun where it's like number 9 does this and
basically
number
like-
11 does that.
It's basically like I'm about to ex machina you, so you better fight back with
And
whatever you're gonna do.
It's kind of
quickly.
in some theories or I guess critiques of it. It's kind of like saying like this is like you can literally write like cause this did it cause a gun.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying the gun is the soft magic and the
Well-
Pagwa Senpa is the hard magic?
No, they're both.
the
they're,
whole show
they're both.
is
The
soft
whole
magic.
thing is using soft magic. A show couldn't use like hard and soft unless like they wanted to destroy the other one.
Oh.
Because like you can't really predict what's going to happen, right?
Uh-huh.
Like you can predict in Full Metal Alchemist, like I'm going to clap my hands and something's going to be made. Like cool. The only reason you do or you change it is like either the character doesn't know that you can't create a human life out of the things that you have without a rule like equivalent exchange, or it's like I have a number gun and it takes some life away. How much do you say? Find out because of plot. And it's not like a bad thing, but that's just how
Just like that.
that's how
Well, and,
like that's how it is. It's not
as
it's
cool
not a critique as at all.
cool. Yeah, but as cool as the caster shells are, a lot of times it's just used to negate another attack. So I think it kind of feeds into that of like you don't know what to expect, but it's always the right amount of equal magic back to cancel.
It's like
you know.
Cancel it out.
yeah, it's like versus a video game where it's like I can increase my mana and that'll allow me to use more magic. Or it's like if I learn Curaga versus just Cure, then I know like it's stronger, right? Because
Yeah.
I've trained it or I've fortified it in some way because I have more material. Versus like a raid boss is like it's arbitrary. You know, like sometimes there is a number
Like-
and there's a rule to it.
Like you would like, would you say Avatar is hard magic?
Airbender
Yeah, Airbender.
it's actually the middle of the road.
Oh,
It's like perfect middle of the
because
road.
you know what you kind of know what to expect because you need the element there, but then you don't know what they
Well,
can do with it.
The rules are like water could only use water around it, but fire, they make fire, right? Earth is kind of limited based on the earth around them, but that's it. But then fire is like the only one that can make it
I
without
was
it.
saying like between the different elements, it's mixed.
Yeah, so there, that's why it's like it's a perfect blend where
Yeah,
you know hard and soft.
Right.
Learn something new every day.
Every day.
I don't think there's a big school on it, but it's kind of like people who've talked about like you know works of fiction have used that, like the Force, right? It's like who says how much Force you can use.
Right.
But then they kind of like, well, now you can because of midi-chlorian counts. So now it's hard because based on that, you can pick up a ship. Who
Yeah.
knows? But yeah, this like uses soft. So it's like, it uses it in a way where the main character isn't like inundated where it's like, oh my God, all these magic users, all this shit. But it's more just like it's more like a world building aspect of it where it's like, it can help Deus Ex Machina things, but also like they usually fall victim to it. They're never really like the users of it and they usually experience it from you know, a second view. So it's like it's cool when to me it's seeing like the random main antagonist that shows up because typically the McDougal brothers are like the main antagonists for the show, and then later on like these wizards.
But they're not
show up.
like
Yeah.
I found that the McDougals weren't like bad guy antagonists.
well, yeah,
They're like Gary.
antagonists purely in writing form, where like they're working against the main cast.
Yeah.
But versus they're not evil.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, so later on, like with the A10-7, like those
Yeah.
guys who just all use magic, like they just came out of nowhere a little bit. They introduced them like several episodes before the finale, but they're like, damn, like that's magic and all that stuff. But I liked that because I think it was kind of like you as much as you love the space and Western blend to it, I loved that they used technology and magic.
Yes.
Like the
I'm
techno magic,
so
that's what
about that.
I like that a lot. Like that's something that they don't do in Trigun or in Cowboy Bebop.
Because I'm not super into like occult stories and like magic.
but this
and, like,
made it like you
and
like
this kind of brings it more into the sci-fi realm, which I really dug, and that's kind of where I like to live. Which is again Destiny.
Which
you know, like,
the episode that Caitlin, you know, trying to make fun of Josh, doesn't like the spring episode. Like I liked it because that's where he got the caster bullets, and I was kind of like I liked the dumb side questy feel of like doing this weird fun thing, but then he ended up getting the most powerful plot devices of the show,
Yeah.
and I was like, those are dope. And then like the Lechi
These will
dudes,
suck the life out
yeah,
of
the
you if
Lechi
you
dudes
use
are like, we
them.
got you numbers 1 through this, blah blah, and also these 4.
I also love that in that episode, with the mask. I can't remember his name, but the guy that's like trying to come kill Jean all
Oh
the
yeah,
time.
he's an idiot.
And it's totally like Coyote and Roadrunner the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's never a moment where something super along the lines of Roadrunner doesn't happen to that guy. That was hilarious to me.
he is Tabi Yora or something like that.
That Hot
With the
Springs
mask,
episode,
with the red hair.
the Hot Springs episode looks like it's masked as filler, but it's like kind of important.
Yeah.
Tobigera.
When you're following
Tobigera,
like
yeah.
Gene's path is kind of important.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing I kind of actually liked about the show, as well as that like at episode 20 you got the whole gym episode,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there was 5 episodes left, and you're like, what the fuck? You're giving me some exposition now?
And then
Just
like
a little,
after
just a
that,
little sprinkle.
like right before it, they have the episode that looks like a filler
Yeah.
where they're having a vacation. You're like,
Yeah.
is this the time? But then it's like actually,
But
but then they snuck
Where's
in
the time for
the
that?
B plot, which is what gets you to the finale.
Well, also like they do like out of nowhere they'll be like, well, now we're back on Sentinel 3, and it's like we're back in more like debt, and they do like the fight episode.
The ship's
Yeah.
broken again.
Yeah, where it's
Yep.
like we're fighting space, and actually we gotta go back. We're fighting. It's like it's not this like there's episodes in Cowboy Bebop where they're just flying through space,
Yeah.
right? And episodes of Firefly where they're just flying through space. And here it's like you think that they make you really think like, oh, this is gonna be like fighting space pirates and stuff like that. It's like no, they're back. They're grounded most of the time.
We're back at the gas station.
They go very far and few between all these different places, but it's like they're usually on a station for most of the time.
Yeah.
And like the fights are very just kind of like they get it quick and done in a hurry, like anime style. But it's like the story before that point is like pretty important.
Yeah.
So,
Favorite characters?
favorite character inside or just favorite character?
A favorite character inside, I think.
Okay.
So are we going to say the main
I don't know.
characters?
You make the rule apparently because you said.
I'm asking, first of all.
Wow.
Are we going to say that the crew is like main characters?
Main character, yeah.
That's good.
Okay. Tom?
No, you made the rule. You said I
Wow.
think character inside.
Caitlin?
I really like Melfina a lot. I think that
But
it's,
why were you born?
yeah.
Why were you brought into this world?
I,
But what
I,
about
We're
my
here to find this
past?
out.
Oh, Wolverine.
We'll find your past.
I like, yeah, I like that kind of, that machine man-made, but also has that like
Huge purpose
existential,
kind of thing.
yeah, huge, has all this destiny just thrown upon her, and it's what she does with it that
It's
matters.
not Japanese if she don't
Hello.
got amnesia.
And then side character, I really like Gilliam, actually, the ship.
Sassy
Yeah.
Alfred.
Yeah,
Robot Alfred.
sassy robot
Yeah.
Alfred. I really liked him a lot.
His little like physical
His
like
physical-
His little
representation.
teeny arms. I
The-
loved his
the-
little
the
arms
pink
and his
one?
eyebrows.
If we were in 0G, I could help.
Are these Gilliam
We're
eyebrows?
They're Gilliam eyebrows.
We're in unusually
Wee,
calm
wee, wee,
flight
wee.
conditions right now.
Yeah.
Actually, count.
I'll go next.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ollie.
Ollie. It's really, really hard between the characters of who I want to choose because I really loved Aisha. I just thought she was so extra.
Clan.
I really loved Jim a lot. So if I had to pick one, gun to my head, I'll pick Aisha.
Wow. All right.
Well, it's how we used to
So
do it in
many of
Nerd On, where it was like, gun to the head. What'd you answer?
Too violent.
No, Aisha, I really, really enjoyed. I just thought she was so extra from the beginning and just so kooky. She was trying to prove
Who would win in a
herself.
fight? Her or Suzuka?
Ooh. I think that would be very close.
Yeah.
Because they're both badass in their own
Suzuka's
sense.
another. No, I think Aisha, because Aisha is another species of being.
Yeah, she can turn into
But
this
the
giant
The fight will
thing.
start and she'll forget to eat calories and then she'll collapse.
Or there'll be no moon.
Yeah.
Or there'll be no moon.
Yeah. Side. You took my side.
Side potatoes?
Side
Or Fred.
potatoes.
Fred was cool too.
I mean, you can like Gilliam too. Also, I
But-
mean,
You
can
as
also
well.
like
Two
Gilliam.
as well.
Yeah. But I loved Gilliam eyebrows. But specifically his like physical representation. It just cracked me up every time. It would just kind of
Into it.
slide in.
Well,
And
the
he was
fact
like-
that it needed eyes was like
Yeah.
the best part of it. It's like
Yeah.
you don't need eyes, but I appreciate that they're there.
Yes. So yeah.
Yeah.
Ollie.
Favorite character, Gene. Like, you want to be
Shock.
him when you grow up. What are you gonna? And then
When you're a kid, maybe. When you're an adult, you're like, he's a little bitch.
I'll take it still. He has a cool jacket.
Okay.
Actually, he's like weird, like skin type bodysuit thing that he's got underneath.
What?
What's that about? And then Gilliam too. Gilliam's
Gilliam.
my favorite side character. Yeah, I love Gilliam too.
Yeah.
I must do it every time.
I mean, I love the resilience of Gene, but like the first 3 episodes rewatching again as an adult, I was like, man, you like I know they made this like trauma thing as a kid, like part of his 3-dimensionalism, but I was just like, you suck right now.
Nothing else happened in your life.
Like, you suck right now. It's like, how are you like this big womanizer, but you're like, I'm not running away. I just can't do it. It's like, shut up.
That's
Did
the
you just
world that
become
they're building
Keanu
now.
Reeves?
I mean, that's how he was. And Jim's like, come on, Gene. And It's
Yeah.
like, we're
Get
gonna
over
be
your
like,
Get over your shit, Gene.
it's just like but also Jim very reminds me of Tails from Sonic
oh,
for a weird reason. Like
Oh,
the mechanic-y
no.
dude who
Yeah.
knows how to fly more. Anyways, but main character, I actually think it's I don't know. It's like it's almost gonna be Twilight Suzuka because I just love the
'Cause
voice.
she's dope.
oh yeah.
She's really badass.
That's my second pick, I think.
She was the way that she gets introduced is she's gonna kill Fred low, and then Jean is the one that protects him, and then it's like I'm gonna join crew now. It's like the fuck.
Yeah.
But then she's just like so by herself. Like most of the time, like she's just sleeping on the ship or just like on the highest plane ever, just
Never involved in anything
drinking
but there.
tea. Yeah, I'm like I really really like that. But I mean, I think it's there's a lot of things I don't like about certain characters that I'm like that makes me not
Pick
like
now.
it. Jim.
There we go.
I think it's Jim. Responsible and also like I don't know. I think he's got mommy issues, so I was kind of like that's the thing I hated about it. But yeah, I like Jim.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
Yeah. Second or a side character, it's probably Fred or maybe no. I don't know. It's it might be Deuce.
Deuce, the
Deuce,
lizard.
the lizard
Oh,
prehistoric
yeah.
thing that was created, who's like a badass. But he's like, come on, guys, we gotta go. It's like, oh, fucking, I'm about this guy. I would love to watch this show. And then I read the show. I'm like, he's not the main character.
Oh,
Thomas is interested.
Swanzo was fun.
Which one's Swanza?
Swanzo?
The little tiny guy, right? Am I saying his
Oh,
name
in
right?
the little pod, the little
Yeah.
frog guy that drank tea inside of a
Uh-huh.
robot.
Yep.
I also do like the.
He's like
don't know
he's
why
like
I
Well,
the
there were some
elaborate
really
that much.
cool,
He's
weird,
like the-
interesting characters in this.
he's like the hangar manager dude. or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
at Blue
yeah,
Heaven.
yeah. He was great.
Also, the weird bird monster, those creatures,
Yeah.
how they're like the most friendly, and I'm like, that's a little. I love that.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little off-putting how
It's
friendly
Tom.
they are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like that. I'm about that.
Mhm. Yeah. That was those are interesting characters.
But also I actually really like Harry. By the time that show ends, I really like Harry McDougal.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
Harry
got
was
the
cool.
dope body,
That bodysuit.
and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is why hasn't the show been like this the entire
Well,
time?
I mean, it's like they present him as as
he's
an
creep.
antagonist.
but he's a creep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's super
Hardcore creep.
Yeah.
And
He's
then as we get further, it's just like he does actually have
But
kind of a
don't tell me by the 24th episode, like when Hangzo, whatever his name
Yeah.
is, to do with the pointy ears.
Hazanko?
Yeah, gets there and Harry's protecting Melfina, and you're like, get him, Harry,
get him.
Yep.
because you're like, no. If anyone, Harry, like Harry's
Right.
protecting her, like, and like Hazanko's like only gonna do work, like
He just
probably
did it for
murder her.
love.
Like Harry just actually loves her in a really bad way, but it's like he's gonna protect her.
True.
He's problematic, but
Yeah.
by the end, you're kind of rooting
Yeah.
for
But then
him.
when he fights him, it's
Yeah.
like super speed, shoots missiles out of his shoulders, gangster shit.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fred Lowe says. It's like,
So qualms or gripes? Since
Qualms
this is kind of
and
your
gripes.
your
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, I
Time
already.
for our recurring segment,
no.
gripe time.
No!
You know what time it is.
Absolutely not.
Gripe time.
Right time?
The right time is the gripe time.
With Dr. Gripes.
Welch's gripe juice.
Um,
It's the lip smackers.
For me, I think this is just coming with age and seeing better. But there's a
Cowboy
few
Bebop,
times.
Yeah, we know.
Unfortunately, it's consistent kind of throughout the whole series. But there's a lot of times where, like, some of the shots are poorly drawn, like really poorly drawn, to the point where like it looks like somebody's face is melting.
There's a point where like Jim does the like okay sign, but his hand is like this big with teeny little sticks flying off the side and a tiny circle. And
Yeah.
I just laugh forever because like that's definitely something you're supposed to see in the background, but they just like gave up
they just
all the way.
Never mind.
I think it was one of those like crunch time weeks.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
You
For sure.
totally sees. But like the thing is like that's funny with that is like there's that. And that I think happens a lot with anime too, because they'll put like a shit ton of money into the fight scenes and those like animations.
But it's
are, like,
weird because it's like it'll just be like an angle change. Like he'll be looking up totally fine, looks to the corner, his face like disfigures and like 15 ways.
turns into a rhombus.
When he's got like a massive head and then his face is like whip and super tiny.
So they're just little things like that kind of stick out way more now than when I first saw it.
With his jacket, sometimes they would make it look like his shoulders actually went all the way out to the sides of the jacket.
Oh, yeah,
and
like
other
Where he
times
was like
it'd
this
be
triangle.
Yeah.
And then sometimes his proportions look fine.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's
sometimes-
Dorito
Yeah.
shit, okay? Dorito
But sometimes
shit.
it would be really obvious that the jacket is like way outside of
Are
what
you
his
talking about
shoulders
Gene?
actually. Yeah.
Gene.
Oh, Gene with the shoulder pauldrons.
Yeah. Sometimes the shoulder pauldrons be obvious that like
Well, he
he's
looks like
scrawny
fucking
underneath
Dracula.
It. But sometimes they would animate it to where the shoulders were at the ends on the side and
Yeah.
like
Oh.
sticking
Yeah,
out.
Dracula.
And he looks like
So he looked like his
massive.
arms were.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it looks more like a cloak than anything
Right.
versus like shoulder shields.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
first, that kind of really bothered me. I was like, and then they started like his anatomy would change sometimes, and you're like,
Mhm.
is that his body shape?
Like,
That's weird.
I just wish he'd stopped wearing the jacket. Just stop wearing it.
I liked his
It's
jacket.
confusing me. It's nice,
wanted
but
it
like
there.
you
I
saw
would
him most
rather-
consistent when it.
I
when
would
he was
rather
without
have
it.
him have the jacket than to have like Mickey Mouse gloves.
The
Which he
gloves
had.
were really
Yeah.
funny.
I mean, but also that's a
I like
style.
them.
Like he had blue
They were
gloves with
blue.
like white cup on
Which
his
he got rid of
wrist.
them by the end.
Which I mean, yeah, it's cool. I'm about it.
Yeah.
Can I ask a uncultured swine kind of question?
Yeah.
Uninitiated. Okay, so something that
This
maybe
question
I
brought to you by our cups.
perhaps I didn't notice it in previous animes, but there were scenes that were like, I remember it more specifically in a later episode, probably in the between 20 to 26, where Jean and Melfina are having a really serious conversation about existence and love and all this kind of stuff.
Androids.
And what I noticed was they were still frames, and they were just going back and forth between these still frames.
Conversations.
These
Yeah.
conversations, and I was like, what?
Their
Is that
mouth,
like a
their mouth
normal-
wasn't moving, right?
Their mouth wasn't
But the
moving.
audio
It
was
was
going
just
off.
there wasn't any audio. It was just music.
I think that's a budget and time thing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Which there were a lot of things that like
Where I almost
I-
thought that there was something wrong with my TV because it was just like a still frame
Yeah.
of her,
No.
and she was looking at him off frame, and then it would switch to him, and he was looking at her off frame,
No,
but nothing was
I
going. They
really
weren't
think
talking.
it's a budget thing because like in some scenes you'll notice that everything is like beautifully animated, everything is perfectly shaded, everything, and
Well,
then you'll
there's-
get
and
to
there's life
the
and
little
movement in
okay
the
sign
background.
later, and it's like a big block, or like the faces aren't the right proportion, or they just don't move. Because I also noticed, which some of these were intentional, because I know this really bugged Dolly a lot, but they would just like pause things in the middle of conversations where nothing was moving. And it was meant to be done in a way where like they're thinking, but they just didn't animate any eyebrow
Didn't do
movements, any mouth movements,
Give me
nothing
a-
to show
Give
that
me a
they're
hair blowing in the wind or
anything.
Like,
But,
I mean,
but I really do think it was like a crunch time thing because that's what it looked like.
I will
to me.
100% defend those kind of things because I think like 100% they're budgetary things, but it kind of became like it's why we have like in video games music that are more repetitious in old games versus why we have scores for new ones,
Yeah.
and they're actually just ambient sounds. And it's because the budget wasn't there and the technology wasn't there for those old games, so everything just sounds like a loop.
yeah.
Versus now it sounds like a cinematic score, but you remember the Legend of Zelda theme, but you can't remember the Red Dead Redemption theme.
Right.
Yeah.
But Red Dead Redemption is obviously more massively made.
Yeah.
But it's like with anime with budget restrictions, it's kind of like they did those things and they had, again, it's a restriction of the medium. It's kind of like avant-garde film where it's like it creates its own meaning within it. And for better or for worse, like it is a quality change because they just don't have the budgetary or time to do it. But it kind of changes how you absorb the information versus like, does it need to have every frame moving? Does it not need it? Like, does it
Yeah.
allow you to kind of just sit there?
Well, I mean, another thing that I noticed, and you guys will be able to answer this question a little bit better, is that, I mean, the lip flaps. Like
Oh, yeah.
sometimes
That's a
were real-
localization thing. I'll 100%.
No.
yeah.
And that's the thing that it was like, it didn't. The qualms that I have are not like they ruin my experience. It's just more so a noticing. It was kind of
Yeah.
like some of the lip flaps were real bad,
Right.
and I was like, all right,
Well,
cool.
there were some times where they were really bad, but there were some times where they were
Oh, yeah.
really good. So, and like I noticed that Leah Sargent, I think, was the ADR, the script supervisor for that.
Mhm.
Because like for anyone who doesn't know how you take a like Japanese show, any foreign show, and dub it into English, you have to have the rough translation, time coding for time code in when the mouth starts moving, time code out for when it stops moving, and that goes for breaths, sneezes, coughs, everything. So that time code is given to the ADR script supervisor, and then they'll take that rough translation, the time code in and time code out, and then they will rewrite the English to fit those lip flaps. So they have to deal with keeping the context, fitting within the time frame, and like being culturally relevant so that your your target audience doesn't lose the initial meaning.
Right.
Yeah.
And when there was only one person working on all of those scripts, so that's like the hardest job.
They're doing
And
the
I've-
Lord's work. That's what you're saying.
the Lord's work. Well, and
Yeah.
I've done some of that, and sometimes
I
like
remember that's when you like
just,
first started it.
You run out of time. Like you run out of time to do things. So then you're like, I guess this sentence works. So I have to move on because I have to go on to the next line. And I applaud Leah Sargent for doing what she did, because there were times where I didn't notice anything.
Yeah.
And there were a few times where I did, but I was like, overall, they're pretty.
I mean, I know
pretty
that it's
good.
kind of a nature of the beast.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those things that it is a timing, a budgetary. It's kind of one of those things. It's just, like I
Well,
said, didn't take away from it. It was just
Right.
a notice.
And I think
Yeah.
in terms of like a Westerner like viewpoint, it's like an acclamation to the style and acclamation of like what the medium we're watching to. Like, and I told you again, like I remember like I watched anime before I watched most other cartoons, and so I remember watching. I couldn't watch Futurama, I couldn't watch Simpsons, I couldn't watch Family because I found it too ugly looking. Like nothing about it like inspired me or made like I couldn't care if it had like the best writing in the world. Like I just couldn't watch it. Like these all look like they all have tumors all over their
Sorry,
bodies.
Dan.
Interesting.
And he doesn't draw it.
I know.
But then I later on had to become acclimated to it, and I got used to it, and like I got to get used to like jump cut frames or like how framework works differently in different animation styles. And so it is something that I think you'll see more. And like this is like the like later 90s, like before, and Caitlin could attest to this.
Oh
Like
boy.
bad localization from back in the day. And
Speed Racer.
I remember, yeah, and like that's how like I want to fight your brother, wah, 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 wah. And then like Jeff Nimoy was like critically acclaimed because he was able to adapt an English word lexicon into Japanese things and was able to invoke English and American cultures into it. And remember, he talked about that story, like how he wanted to get his last line in Digimon Data Squad, and it was going to be, "I love you, man." And he was going to do the Han Solo. I was like, I know, but he didn't have the correct mouth flaps.
Yeah.
And it's like those kind of things, like that's like almost a luxury where it's
Yeah.
like you're aiming for this word, but Jeff Nimoy was so good about like, I know the rough story and I don't have to do a direct translation. But now in current anime in 2019 that we're talking, like a lot of things are very just like kind of word for word, I'm assuming.
They want things to be as close to the original
Well,
source
like with My
material as
Hero,
possible.
I haven't, like the lip flaps, when I'm watching My Hero, there's never
noticed.
noticed a time
And-
where I'm like, oh, that was weird.
Well, and that's just also the
20-year
technology
difference,
is different too, because like the Speed Racer stuff, I took a class because I do the dubbing and stuff as a voice actor person.
Do the dubbing and the
I
things.
do the dubbing and the things. I took a class and they were talking about before they had ADR, they would have to do things on loops. So they would play the scene and you would literally have to catch the lip flaps as they were happening.
Yeah.
And then if you missed it, you did it again. There was no punch in, punch out. Like things are great now.
Oh yeah, we have
Like
yeah.
we can be really on top of it and have really great writers that.
and they give you like
for
what,
simul
10
dubs and
cents
stuff.
more now comparatively? I mean,
Yeah,
the budget's still
about-
really
it's pretty close to.
localization budget is still really low, but I mean, like it's better than it was then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
much. It's
And
much
I mean,
better now.
that's also like there was a big story between Hayao Miyazaki and Disney. They like destroyed his first films that were like sent to America, and Disney dubbed it, and he hated the dubs. And then like they had to work really hard to get those relationships back because like the mouth flaps
they
didn't
burned
work.
the bridge.
Yeah.
hard.
And it's a hard thing to do. So I mean, like Outlaw Star is actually almost like a perfect show to kind of see like the trend changing to like we're
Yeah.
getting better, like,
Yeah.
mouth
Yeah.
flap dub localization stuff.
On that same sort of vein, I would say also some of the translations I feel were like a little rough,
Yeah,
particularly the ones in the prologues. I feel like those ones, I understood the information that was being told to me, but like I feel like none of it was like I feel like it lost some cultural relevance, and
Yeah.
it didn't have like poignant
Well,
statements.
I feel like it's kind of like they're just saying statements, not
Right.
saying sentences.
right, but it's like one of the earlier ones is like Jim or
Gene
becoming a man, but then being a boy and remembering that he's a boy.
A boy must be able to
boy
dream.
must remember to dream and must remember that he was a boy. And it's like none of that really makes sense.
It doesn't feel as poignant
doesn't-
as it probably
like I
was
get what
in
you're saying,
Japanese.
right?
Yeah.
So that maybe that's just an anime thing, but
I think
that
that's
was
an anime thing because they reuse that same line as a lot of their Toonami bumps to promote the show, and it's
Oh.
one that I actually have saved on my phone.
weird.
Because it's pretty good. If you watch the whole thing, like the bump they use, because they use One Punch Man, they use Dragon Ball Z, and they intercut it with that same like dialogue. I'll show it after
Also,
the show.
side note, I don't know why, but every time we got a prologue, not to say that the actor that did the prologue was bad, but I really
Don't you talk about my boy?
I really wanted James Earl Jones to do it.
Oh my god.
like really bad. I don't know
Morgan Freeman.
Keanu Reeves.
why.
Yeah,
No,
actually,
James Earl
James Earl Jones
was
would be
like
good.
the one I wanted
But I
really
was
bad.
on that vein of you of talking about like some of the dubbing was bad. Like randomly out of nowhere, like Jim was like, "Okay," and it's just like, what the fuck. I know for a fact he didn't say that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know-
There's
or-
a bunch of those where
or-
like the way he'll respond to something, and I'll
Yeah.
be like, "You didn't
Yeah.
say
Say
that in
that.
Japanese."
real.
or like you see like someone like Melfina or one of the girls be like, "Huh?" And then it just ends. And I was like, I guarantee there's another sentence after that, and it's
Yeah.
not appropriate because that's part of the story where it's like they had this dub first go on Toonami and it was like super censored, and then they later on went on to Adult Swim where they could take all that censoring out. And like I remember watching it now as an adult, I'm like, I don't remember half the cussing. Like
Yeah.
there's so much more cussing now that I'm watching. Like, damn, they
Well,
got
like
away
the
with a
song
lot.
later on in the season, like there are some times that she's singing, but her mouth isn't moving at all.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like,
What's happening?
I'm okay. With that.
okay.
For some reason, I'm more okay with like mouth not moving and then I'm hearing dialogue because I'm kind of thinking like this isn't like an in-time dialogue conversation. It's more of an interconnection of the
That's
minds.
how I kind of picked up.
And I think that's how like we're supposed to connect those dots in those senses where it's like when movies don't do good coverage and it's like they want you to just connect it
Yeah.
versus like I'm not okay with like blah. And it's just like you could have just cut the whole scene out.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have
Yeah.
been mad. Like make the episode even
you can
shorter.
cut that out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like more dialogue versus like not
versus
like
awkward dialogue that doesn't, do anything.
connect. Doesn't connect
doesn't
to
make
the
sense.
story at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, those gunshot transitions.
Boom, 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 boom.
No.
I
No. The like in between in the middle of the episode when you're like, "Pew!" And I was like, "Oh my god, who
just
died?"
changing scenes.
Oh, I
Not,
love that.
What
not,
happened?
not the commercial
I
break,
didn't-
but the
Who's been
changing
murdered?
scenes.
so that was on my qualms list too.
Yep.
And they're cool if you got the commercials, but it was just like
No, you're talking about
next scene.
You're not even talking about those. You're talking about the ones like before,
Just-
like right to
just
the next scene immediately.
Right to the next scene
It's
immediately.
they
Not
use
commercial.
it as a they use it
not
as a
the
transition.
Outlaw Star thing.
It's one gunshot.
sound
that-
bridge.
So my view of those was like, if that was a scene transition, fuck you.
Yes.
That is stupid to me.
I did
Really?
not
Yeah.
like that at all.
I did not like
I
it.
hated it.
Wow.
I was like,
I
it
was
was like,
totally cool
boom,
with it.
next scene, and you're like,
I
Why?
literally, I panicked almost. I mean, I'm.
But you
easy to
panic about
scare.
everything.
I do. I know.
We were playing. Okay,
Because
hold
Outlaw
on.
Star is high octane.
Tangent. We were
Get
playing
it.
Kingdom Hearts on the fucking tutorial island, and then she falls down a bridge in this do place, and she goes. Ah! And I'm just like, where
I'm
are
easy
we?
to
Are we playing
scare.
Resident Evil?
I
Are-
admit this. This wasn't something I've been
She's
trying
playing
to hide.
a little boy in shorts.
It's very
It's a door.
easy to scare me. But
yeah, gunshot.
this was like the worst because my brain immediately goes, what's the worst possible thing that could happen with any type of big sound? And I was like, everyone has died.
You know,
They
what's-
caught them. There's an ambush. Everyone's dead now. I can't watch any more show because everyone died.
so funny thing for me is like this goes parts of qualms. There was a lot of parts for me. I was kind of like, all right, get on with the story, and then like the bang part, like, oh, okay, finally new scene. Like those were like, okay, I'm caught on now.
well, I mean, for me, it also comes from a standpoint of like mixing standards, like from an audio standpoint. Since then, I mean, we're talking 21 years now, has changed significantly. So those kinds of moments are almost not allowed now because it's so like
Jarring.
it's so jarring that it's like, whoa, you can't
Well,
do that to your audience.
You wouldn't
anymore.
do that as a common thing.
Yeah.
You would do that definitely as like
I didn't
for
enjoy it
purpose.
because it was so quick.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like because it didn't to me it didn't fit at times where I was like, I didn't.
They always did the target like on someone's forehead or on their heart or whatever, and I was just like, they're dead. They're dead. It's over.
And then also you just see like the dome skyline and it looks all beautiful. You're like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Moving on. Any other qualms?
I have one qualm, and I know that it's been mentioned. I get made fun of for it. That Josh doesn't like this.
Well, we'll talk about it.
And it's a thing that I understand that it's a part of anime. It's a trope of anime. It's this fan service thing about nudity.
It's the anime titties.
It's
You don't like them?
let's use the term that's on the table. It's
sorry.
called fan service.
Fan service. It's
and
true.
In fact, first episode of Trope Time, they talked about this. And that's our other show. First Monday of every month. It's lost on me and it takes me out of it. And this show actually didn't have a lot of it until episode 23, which did not air on television in the US until 2017.
Banned.
It's
Not really
banned,
Not banned.
but they
never
just
aired.
It just never aired in the US, and because there was a lot of nudity, not a lot. There's a little nudity in episodes before that, but they digitally masked it.
So for everyone at home listening, the episode is when the crew and gang and all that stuff are like nearing the Galactic Leyline. They're trying to figure out what Melfina's like purpose in the world is. But Gene needs his little plot device guns to have bullets, which are caster bullets, and typically always sends Jim to go get it. But they always say that these caster bullets are always made out of from wizards.
Yeah.
But then when they arrive to this planet, which is supposed to be where they're made, it's like Venice Beach. Where it's like everyone's in just bikinis and all that shit, and everyone's just living the life. They even get shoved into dressing rooms to become part of it. So it's like the typical, and there's a lot of fan service episodes of TV shows that do that. We're just like, let's take a break. We're going to the pool. Boom. Episode.
And for some reason, and I'm sorry, this will probably just always be my qualm. I just don't. It's like gratuitous nudity, gratuitous. And I say gratuitous in a sense of like it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like I understand that. Okay, so they're at a hot springs. I get that. And people are most likely going to be naked at a hot springs. I get it. It's a vacation. The thing that I didn't like about this particular episode was a part of the whole fucking plot is that they will give him these shells
with the
as
nudie,
long as he
nudie
gets nudie pics of this character or video. And yes, it's played out in a humorous way where she does it in a sense where it's
she causes a curse on it.
It's an explosion and it's funny and whatnot. But I'm like, I'm sorry, he can't get these caster shells until he gets these nudie. Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous.
But also something that would probably happen in real life.
I'm gonna say like this as well. Like I've always been there, and I've had friends who like love the fan service episodes, and I'm like, dude, I don't need this shit.
And it's not that I don't like nudity; it's just the use of it.
So I'm going to. But I've always been a fan of like I don't need it, and like typically it's like the one episode when you meet the girl and she like falls over and her fucking skirt goes up. I'm like, why? He's like, and he'll say he's like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm like, I don't need it. But with this, I thought it was kind of funny because again, it's also a little bit of a time capsule of its time of like in the early 90s, especially when the manga came out, and especially if this is supposed to be for like 17, 18-year-old boys / men who are like budding puberty and all that shit. I would say it's so much of a cultural thing, and that's why it's kind of lost on newer Western eyes. Someone who's kind of like, I wouldn't say I grew up with it, but it's kind of like I've come accustomed to it. It's almost like I'm blind to it. I'm desensitized from it. It's like
because you've seen it.
Well, like I don't get anything out of it.
I wish I could have experienced it. Well, so I would have that like.
Oh, I'm going to draw the comparison. It's how I think every other culture sees action films. Like it's just pornography. Yeah, there's no point to it. It's like, oh my God, he can't get the file without killing 20 guys.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's how it would be. It's like, no, you just steal it.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Those are the same kind of, I guess, justifications where it's like some cultures, especially like one that's written like, we're going to try to sell these to guys who want to who live at home with their mom probably or something like that, or like busy ass businessmen who never see women ever.
Yeah.
Want to get their little fucking socks off, and that happens. I'm not defending it, but I'm kind of saying like this is where it comes from, and to understand it is important. Versus us civilized Westerners who are like, my life is boring. I'm in traffic all day. What if all these cars just exploded? That'd be fucking great. I would love to see that shit. And it's like that's what we get our jollies out of.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's gratuitous on both points, like both.
Tom,
parts.
we need to have a conversation.
Wanting to explode cars or like not liking girls.
That's good.
But you know those kind of things. I think
I just want to make sure that it's like I think it's just something that's
it's a point to talk about for sure.
It catches me, and I'll be better
the thing
about
is,
it.
the thing is like this. It's like it's a visceral reaction that you have, but it's like understanding that fan service is a part of all anime, and some animes choose to use it. Some animes don't have it anymore.
And
I don't think a
some-
lot do anymore. Like a lot mainstream ones.
My Hero has it, but they make huge fun of it.
Yeah, and also like they're high schoolers,
Yeah.
so they don't go and get nude.
yeah.
Like they won't
Right.
even get into swimsuits in My Hero Academia. Like I'm saying, like, oh, look at my wrists, isn't that naughty? Where this is like fucking full blown frontal nudity and all that shit. So it's like there's definitely levels, and I don't think it's that gratuitous as much anymore in mainstream stuff.
Yeah.
Like you have to actually start digging for genres that will have that written in the DNA, like
Yeah.
Right.
harem genres, which are a lot of those.
A lot.
But yeah, I mean, like it's just part of it, and I think like you can like it or not like it, but it's like understanding where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Because
not
I mean,
saying
like,
like there's no reason. It's like there's a reason.
yeah. Because I mean, it's related to like how women, I think, are just dealt with in general on the show. Like,
Yeah, well, it's like when they get full body armor, it's bikinis.
yeah. Or
like that
I
kinda
mean,
shit.
Melfina has to be naked inside of her navigation system.
Of course.
She couldn't sit in a chair.
Yep. Can't
Or
sit in a chair.
she has to
Gotta
be-
be naked
or she-
in a pool.
Or she has to be
Naked in a pool
naked in
water.
a suitcase versus having like a bodysuit on, like Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Things like that, where it's like those are things.
And then when Harriet gets in there, I'm like, oh god, no. I'm just
But yeah, and so there's definitely things where it's like a lot of the medium that we talk about, and I think definitely Trip Time probably talks about at some point. It's like it's all patriarchy shit, but it's like those are again time capsules of it, so you can take it or leave it. You can remark upon it, but it's kind of like that was its time.
Yeah.
Hopefully we could like something better.
I mean, the one thing is like that only came at episode 23, and it's one of those things that I was like, oh, okay. That's the only point where I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Next
So
week,
it's-
La Blue Girl.
I actually lightweight think like if they'd never had that episode out, like where the fuck do you get these bullets?
Yeah. No, it make
And that's
everything that happened in the episode
yeah.
was it
Yeah.
was eventually important,
yeah.
but it was like, whoa,
Okay. Now rating.
yes.
Any more qualms, Josh?
No.
So we have 2 on Caitlin, 1 on Tom, and 1 on Josh.
guess I go
and none
first.
on Ollie. So Ollie goes first.
I give this a 4.8.
4.8 on the Ollie scale.
Yes. For my qualms. But that's about it.
Okay. So Tom and Josh go. Alphabetical. That's what you always
No,
say.
it's a valid
Yeah.
point. I give it a solid 4.
Wow.
4.0.
My qualms didn't ruin my experience of it. That literally, like, my big qualm about it was 1 episode of 26. It's like, so I get wham for 20 minutes, and then, but
mean,
the
that's how
rest
you
of it
normally
was an
are.
enjoyment.
You are wound for about 20 minutes.
I don't
So I'll
know.
go next. Mine's 4.2.
Yay.
I think it's phenomenal. I think it's great. I think there's some things in there where it's like it kind of drags a little bit, and I feel like they could shorten things out. And I don't think the Angel Links episode that kind of introduced them was really worth it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was enough.
No.
There's some definitely really great gems, and the one I keep bringing up is the episode when they're on prison. In the
Oh, yeah.
prison planet, I really, really liked it because Gene was just by himself, and it kind of really remarks upon the Gene character and how he grew. But I mean, like the things I don't like are all the small little character things, and that's like it's not a hard qualm, I guess. It's not a professional qualm. It's just a casual qualm of like these are things about characters I don't like. Like
Yeah.
I don't like how Jim kind of loses identity sometimes, even though as rebellious as he is. I don't like how Gene, like, you can't really tell if he's growing or not. And Melfina, like, I don't like how she kind of like when she's on screen, she's either super lovely and nice, or she's like, but you're not helping me. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, what the fucking leave?
Yeah.
And Suzuka like kind of plays second fiddle. I don't like, and Aisha is like, she's almost the most well-rounded, but like everything she talks about almost doesn't come to play. And so it makes those things tough for me. And like, I really feel like there's some things they could have taken out to have more intertwining between the McDougal brothers or more of the K Pirates, because they made the K Pirates such a big deal for the first like 13 episodes and then just forgot about them. And then everything just became K Pirates. Like, oh, they probably work for the K Pirates. I don't know. Maybe they're coming after him. Like, you don't. Why the fuck was the girl with the cat coming after them?
Because she was a pirate.
You never hear that. All you hear is like, we're supposed to just take out Gene Starwin and disable the ship. That's all you hear of their intention. I watched the episode 3 times because I was like, what the fuck was this for? Why did this have to happen? This sucks. I was so upset. I was like, Jim deserves love.
He does.
He does. It was sad as shit and 2 cats exploded. Spoilers,
really
everyone.
upsetting.
Spoilers. But the shit was really dope. So 4.
I give it a 4.7. I like the show.
So we are dual grumps.
Dual grumpins.
The Mc-
Tom basically said everything
Grumple
that
brothers.
I thought about the show. I wish that while everything was, the world was really rich and the characters were really cool, but I feel like they could have gone just a couple steps further with defining everybody and giving them like their full depth. Because yeah, even at the end, I was like, Gene, you're such a little shit. Like I thought you learned. You got a haircut.
Like-
you change your clothes. What are you doing?
I loved Aisha having to like work at random spots to make money. I loved that they were getting in nothing but deeper debt with Fred Lowe. I was like, oh, this is like writing itself up to like be forever.
Oh yeah.
And like
Oh,
I
yeah.
would have been okay with it. It's like, oh, how are they gonna weasel away more money? It's like, yeah, cool. Like I'm gonna sponsor you for 400 million. You'll get into the show, but you're gonna owe me 700 million. It's like, god damn it. It's like every single
They
time.
take a step forward to take 3 steps back.
I loved that thing where it's like this wonky, and that's the thing. Caitlin, you said that really funny where it's like Cowboy Bebop has this whimsy, and I was like, this has way more whimsy in that sense where it's like there is no chance for these losers. Like these are all losers.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
and like everyone around them that they go against are all badasses. And it's like they barely get away with it with the skin of their teeth. And it's like like Aisha's like garbage of the Ctarl-Ctarl like empire. Like Suzuka is like out of nowhere, her fucking like arc comes in. It's like, you killed my family. It's like, what the fuck? 24th episode in?
Yeah.
And I was like, why did you join us? Every guy just wants to know why. And I was like, yes, we do want to know why.
That was definitely, I didn't say this qualm earlier just because I wasn't thinking of it, but they would build up these
'Cause
great
fan
things and no, they would build up these great storylines and then they'd be like, and we're done. And then it was just over and you're like,
Didn't
oh.
Gene have like a daddy thing?
Yeah, well, his
Yeah.
dad and him flew to space, and then like they died. He died, and then he went to this thing. He's like, "What do I do? I don't like flying." And then
And
made
then
that
when he-
his
then when
first thing. That's what I loved about Hilda so much. Like, what are you just gonna sit there? And he's like, "You can't just run away." And he's like, "I don't want to run away." And I'm like, Hilda's fucking badass.
yeah, Hilda was great. But yeah, they
Hot
would
ice.
just like, and when he finally faced the McDougal brothers, he's like, "Did you kill my dad?" He's like, "I don't know, I don't remember." It's like,
I mean,
Ba-da-ba-ba-doo-boo.
well, also
Next
that's
episode.
That's probably where Ryan Johnson got from. Your family doesn't mean anything.
oh.
Don't you know? It's like, oh, it does matter.
We figured it out.
I figured it out.
But no,
Yeah.
it's still enjoyable. I think I'd definitely watch it. I actually like rewatching it. I was like, fuck, I really, really, really like this show.
Yeah, it actually makes me want to watch it again just because I want to pick up more things. And I really like that they also left it where like the Tendo King and the Tendo Empire. What's that? wanna know. Like if
Give me the deets.
yeah,
I want
if
to know.
what's his buns, scary pointy hat man. I can't remember his name even though I just said it earlier.
Hakanzo, Hamanamaza.
That name.
Hazanko.
Lord Hazanko.
Lord Hazanko. If Lord Hazanko is afraid of the Tendo King and the Tendo Empire, what is that?
But also, I was not pleased with how
Why?
the Galactic Leyline what it decided to be. Because right before the 24th episode, it's like, you know what the Galactic Leyline is, but you just want to figure out what it is, so that mystery will not be a mystery. It's like, no, bitch, I don't know what it is. And at the very end, it's data. It's fucking data. And then like
It's data.
The actual translation for it is
It's
supposed
Tron.
It's supposed to be the Dragon's Vein, which
Yeah.
sounds like a little bit cooler than Galactic Leyline. Even though Galactic Leyline sounds really dope, but it's like it's just a library created by like aliens that we don't know existed anymore that have all the information of the universe. And then Milphine has 2 personalities, and we're like, what? Like, where did this all come from? I didn't know. I couldn't guess
and I
any
also
of this.
love that it was like basically like collecting all the Dragon Balls. Like, oh, once you find it, you can have whatever wish you want. I'm gonna go to a different part of the galaxy real quick. Okay, find me later if you want. Bye. Like,
Like, yeah, it felt very like bait and switch. Very
Yeah.
like, whoa. I like none of this felt like I could have expected it all. And I think those are like the bad thing about mysteries, but I don't think this was meant to be a mystery, obviously. This is like more, if anything, a character piece, and like Gene being like, I have to be a real man and say that I love this android thing that I don't know if it has a little, private parts that I wanted to look at in episode 2, but I didn't
yeah,
say
that's
anything about
right.
it.
That was a little weird.
Yeah.
I saw that episode, and then Jim calls like mom. I was like, oh, what's wrong with you?
Stop that.
I did not like that.
Anyways, I'm sorry. I love your anime, Ollie. You have a great.
No, I
good.
didn't like that specifically with Jim.
I love everything you
with
love.
Jim. The mom moment. That was weird.
That was a little weird.
Well,
Kinda weird.
Anyways,
Well, I feel complete.
You feel complete?
Yeah.
I feel complete.
yeah,
Yeah.
me
It
too.
was good.
Complete.
I actually
Complete?
would want to watch it like 3 more times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
Let's do it right now.
There are a few episodes that I did watch again just so I could be like the last episode when there was the battle.
Yeah.
I
Because
like
a lot happened and like just like
Oh,
this
yeah, shout
big-
out to grappler fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really would like.
I laughed so hard because I forgot about the grappler arms, and like the first time that
They're so
came up,
derpy.
I was just like, okay, we've had mecha, but what if the like spaceships just had arms? Like not a head, not legs, but just arms.
No,
Arms
it
that
has a
hold
gun.
things.
It has a gun and a knife.
Gun and a knife.
It couldn't just be a gun on a piece of a pipe. It
Nope.
had to be a
Handheld gun.
Yep,
holding
yep,
a gun.
yep. It's kind
that
of
was
like-
just an enlarged auto rifle.
It's like taping a knife to a hamster.
Which I'm not
Like,
gonna lie.
What are you doing?
Shout out to my boy Freddie. We used to make Legos all the time. I had a Lego spaceship. I fucking combined
Put
it.
arms
I
on
combined it with bionicle arms.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is gangster as
Oh
shit.
my god.
I see it. I see
Wow.
it.
Fucking dope.
Inspired by Outlaw Star.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Firefly.
Yeah.
But I would want to watch the 23rd episode. Okay.
Oh, nice. nice. Digging, stabbing it in. Everybody at home, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you guys. What did you think? What did you think about Outlaw Star if you had seen it? Who did you think was going to be the grump? Let us
What's your
know.
rating? What's your
Yeah,
number?
what's your rating?
Slip and slide in the DMs.
Or you don't even have to. You could just go on
Just do it.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check us out, Nerd On TV. Making it real easy, Nerd On TV. That's our website as well, nerdon.tv.
TV. Wow.
You can find all the information. We have a lot of written content that's going up every few days. We have several podcasts. We have this show, Nerd On the Podcast. We have our newish. We're 10 episodes in, so is it new? Is it still new?
No.
Newest.
Almost
Newest.
a year.
Well, they
Almost
didn't
a
have
year
to
in.
know it was new.
Yeah,
Newest.
the Nerd On Update, which is our weekly show in which we talk about the nerdy news that excites us. And
Merch.
we have new
answer
merch.
your questions that
Yeah.
you send to us from viewers and listeners like you.
Yes, we have a lot. I mean, in all actuality, we really do have a lot.
lot.
Right now, we are also, this is July at the time of recording this. This is July 2019. We are up for nomination for the Podcast Awards, and you, our listeners, can vote for us to be nominated officially. Just go to nerdon.io/nominate
Nominate.
and put in your vote. It's going until July 31st. We have another show, Trope Time. First Monday of every month, hosted by our friends Nikki and Izzy.
Proud of
and
you.
like we mentioned earlier, they talk a lot about the tropes in the things that we love and analyze them a little bit and just go into it. But yeah, I think that is everything.
But specifically something that Ali mentioned that wasn't the right time. But we have new merch.
We
Oh, yeah.
We have new collections of merch that came out. Check that out. Our
Yeah.
store is exploding out every orifice, every hole that you want to come out of. They look great. They look beautiful. Ollie designed them, but they're all inspired by your favorite fandoms.
Next month, Nerd On Underwear to cover your orifices.
Oh.
No?
I love that.
No?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, we'll talk.
No, no.
Inflatable arm flame flint too, man.
About it. That's what I want.
Yeah.
But talk about the collections, Ollie.
The collections.
We have
So,
the iconic
iconic
collection
collection.
and the all levels of nerd collection, which pays homage to your favorite shows like Dragon Ball Z and Captain America, which is not a show, but also we have
Good
Pokemon.
one.
I'm trying my best.
But also Batgirl. Just some cool
Bet.
Batwoman.
Woman.
Sorry.
Yeah,
They're-
Josh.
I can't win.
One gets shot, one's lesbian.
Bat Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Woman. woman. What?
But yeah, we've got new merch coming out all the time, and we're also open to suggestions to what you guys would want to
What
wear.
anime do you want us
Yeah.
to watch?
Yeah.
How much fan service do you like?
Yeah.
A little
what do
or not
you
at all?
wish was part of the iconic collection?
Yeah. Well,
And also, what other animes would you like us to cover, Jesse?
well, he's saying it again.
Saying it again.
Well,
On
the first
repetition, I'm just gonna end it here.
Yes.
You know the drill. As always,
nerd on.
Ending broadcast.